He was new,
Damn,
so I was training him. Oh no, my regular was graveyard.
Okay.
But no one was coming in for the morning because one of our employees went to Guam.
So when you say in the morning, you were there
8 to 4.
8 a.m.? 8 to 4.
Yeah.
And about what time did the officers showed up? To the
The
best of your recollection?
those officers to get the
The
luggages?
luggage?
That was around graveyard shift, maybe. I'm not too sure about the time.
Was it before midnight, after midnight?
After midnight, for sure.
Why were the luggages downstairs, and when did they go down?
When I started my shift, the luggages were there. I was surprised too. I was surprised too when they were there.
And you're referring to the midnight shift. When you came back, did you ever leave the hotel when you said you were in the morning shift?
Yeah.
At 8 to 4, and then you
I
checked out at 4.
Yeah.
Came back midnight.
Yeah.
And during the midnight shift, or sometime after the midnight shift, the DPS officers approached the counter and asked to get the luggages.
Yeah. After midnight.
And I guess normal procedures is that someone who's planning to check out send the luggages down.
No.
Would someone who's planning on checking out, like for example, the Buckinghams?
Yeah.
Is that normal that
No. When I got in from work at 12, those were there already. I was surprised also to see that much luggages there. Yeah, and those officers, they just came, and within 5 minutes, I think, that was quick, took all those luggages.
And that's at the time. That's at the time when you checked in at midnight. The luggages were down there already.
Yes.
Um,
So maybe
But
the
Mr.
4 to 12 shift, the B shift, might probably know.
Did the front desk know that the Buckinghams were checking out? Was
There,
there any note at
no,
the front
no
desk
one,
that the Buckinghams were checking out?
no one knew. None of us knew when were they really gonna check out. But Pam, the wife, was like giving out stuff already, and I was helping her out. But we don't know when she is checking out. The date is not even her room that time was like set to check out 10 days, and they already checked out. You know.
So, at what point did the front desk receive the notice from the Buckingham that they were checking out, and were you aware of when?
No, we didn't know.
You didn't know? You didn't
No.
receive the note from the Buckingham that they were checking out?
No.
At what point did you know that they were checking out?
When they left, when I'm very close to Pam, she's my good friend. To see her just walk out like that, I didn't, you know.
Who handled the formalities at the counter regarding the checkout? I mean, people just don't.
They're all paid for.
They all paid for.
Yeah, so they could just walk out.
And they didn't tell you that they weren't coming back?
No, they didn't say anything. They just walk out like quick. They have it all on camera. You could see. I want to say bye to Pam, which I couldn't.
For the record, could you just clarify who Pam is?
And the wife,
The wife of...
Buckingham, Mr.
Thank you.
Buckingham.
So when, at the time that the Buckinghams just stepped out of the hotel, who was there?
Like out of the elevator.
Who accompanied them when they just walked out of
I
the
think
hotel?
the two polo guys was with them.
Two
the two men with polo guy, the two polo with polo, they went up with them and they came down with them and they walked down real quick.
Just for clarification, you meant to say, when you said polo men, you meant to say men wearing polo shirts?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Yeah.
And just to clarify further, did the polo shirts have any emblem on them, or were they just?
I didn't notice anything, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Do you recollect seeing any the two guys in the polo shirts? Have you recognized them?
No. Show me a picture. I'll probably will.
If you look at pictures, you probably would.
I probably will.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never seen that guy before.
Now, when they left, were there additional luggages other than the ones that were released earlier?
No, sir.
No? So no one signed out?
No.
So the Buckinghams never signed out the hotel?
No.
And when they left, did you recall in the manner or the vehicle that they... did they walk out to the parking lot?
It was a big vehicle. No, because things was an SUV. It was parked right there next to the door, so like a getaway kind of.
Sort of like a getaway?
Yeah.
Thank you. Are you?
Thank you, Representative Sablan. Before I entertain any further questions, I want to ask the indulgence of the members to that we will have each member give up to 5 minutes of questioning, and then so we can be able to have others also do it in a more timely fashion. So please prepare your questions, and we can come back to you at a later point. Representative Guerrero, I believe you had a question.
You said everything's on tape video surveillance.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Have we subpoenaed the video surveillance?
Yes, we have.
Okay, all right. How long did you say that they were staying at the hotel?
Oh man, my last boss was there. I believe maybe about 2 years, maybe.
2 years.
I believe 2 years.
So you got to know them fairly well, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I helped them move in and stuff. Also. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Representative Guerrero. Just for the record, I'd like to recognize the Representative Stanley Torres is present. Any further questioning? Representative De La Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Devero.
Hey, good morning, sir.
And thank you for coming.
You're welcome, sir.
You stated earlier during your testimony that Mr. and Mrs. Buckingham,
Yes, sir.
I believe on the morning of the 3rd, was it?
I'm not too sure about the date.
Okay. But you stated earlier that they were taken away from the Aquarius Beach Hotel.
Date.
They were taken away. In other words, they were led out from the Aquarius Hotel.
Let out, like checking out.
You stated that they were
Like they were forced to check out, or forced to go out, or
not maybe forced, but escorted out.
yeah, kind of like that.
Of the hotel.
Kind of like that.
At what time would you say that occurred?
Like I said, I'm not too sure about.
Was it in the early morning hours? Was it late evening?
It was after 12.
After 12 midnight.
If you want me to guess, maybe like 1.
At around 1.
Maybe.
And you stated that you can identify these individuals. And these individuals, you said that
The guy with the polo.
with a polo shirt.
Yeah.
Did you notice? I know you were asked whether there was any significant markings on the polo shirts that these individuals were wearing. Did you notice whether they were armed? Did they have guns with them?
I didn't see any gun.
You didn't?
Well, of course, the two uniformed men, they do have guns, of course, because they're I guess they're on duty. But
okay, and the two uniformed men that had guns, were they part of the group that was escorting Mr. and Mrs. Buckingham out?
I think they just helped out with the luggage. I didn't see them go up. I didn't see them go up the elevator and escort them down from their room. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And you stated also earlier that their accommodations at the hotel were or have been prepaid. Was that correct?
Yeah. Well, the Buckinghams, I don't know who's paying for a room, but there's always check that's coming in, and it's always prepaid.
I'm sorry, can you repeat? There was always what coming in?
Like a check.
A check.
Yeah, that's always coming in. And the room's always being paid for already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you recall who was the checks coming from?
No, my accountant can tell you.
Okay.
My accountant sometimes gives me and I just input the number, but I don't read the check.
Okay. Okay. I'll yield for now, Chairman.
Thank you, Rep. Do any of the other members have any further questions? Mr. Devero?
Yes, sir.
Just out of curiosity, does the Aquarius Hotel have airport transfer, bus transfer to the airport? Do you offer that service?
Yes, sir. It's free.
It's free?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall if that your patrons or your guests, are they informed that there is free transportation to the airport?
Yes, we informed them. Okay. Yeah, it's airport drop-off and pickup is free.
Do you know if Mr. Buckingham was, did you?
Yes, they know about that. Yeah,
Okay.
they do know about that.
But they did not ask for
No.
the free.
They did ask several times back in the past, but this time they didn't.
Not on that early morning hour. Okay. Thank you. That'll be all. If there are no further questions, I'd like to dismiss the witness, Mr. Devero. Before you leave, can you please provide your contact number to our Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Pete Tawai, and if needed, we may contact you and ask you to come back if you are needed. If not, you won't be contacted, but we will give you a reasonable time notice. So with that, you are dismissed. Thank you again for your cooperation.
All right, thank you.
And I hope you get better.
Thank you.
Sarge, can you check if a Danica Calvo is available outside? Good morning, Danica.
Good morning.
Before I ask you to state your name for the record, I'm going to put you under oath. So I will ask you to swear under oath, and you will answer with a yes or no, or I do or I don't. So would you kindly raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Would you kindly state your name and what company do you represent? You can put your hand down.
Danica Calvo, Aquarius Beach Tower.
Danica, and what do you do at Aquarius Beach Tower?
I'm a front desk clerk.
Thank you. Danica, do you recall what shift you were working, either on the evening of August 4th or early morning hours of August 5th?
I was working from 4 p.m. to midnight.
On the 3rd, Friday night?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you. Danica, in your own words, can you just tell the members what conversations you may have had with either Mr. Buckingham or his family, or with any law enforcement personnel or other guests that came to visit or to check Mr. Buckingham or his family?
I'm trying to remember.
Why don't we start with this? You started at about 4 p.m. your shift, right?
Yes.
Were there any guests that came when you came in? Any guests that came to visit or check on Mr. Buckingham?
There were these two people that came to issue out something to Mr. Buckingham, and I didn't know who they were, so I sent them up to the room, and Miss Buckingham sent them back down because she didn't want them in the room. And she called down front desk and told me not to send anyone up. Yeah.
Did you get the names of the two individuals that wanted to see Mr. Buckingham?
I don't remember their names, but they're out there.
Okay, thank you. After that, did anything else happen? What happened when they came down?
They were just waiting for them to come down so they can issue out, I guess, some sort of paperwork for Mr. Buckingham, but Mrs. Buckingham was moving stuff around, so when she came down, she didn't want to deal with it. She felt disturbed and wanted those people to go away.
Thank you. Is there anything else you recall relating to that incident?
No.
Okay, would any of the members have any questions for Ms. Danica Calvo? Representative Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Calvo, good morning and welcome. You said you were on that Devero question, you were on duty from 4 p.m. to midnight.
Mm-hmm.
During that shift, you mentioned that two persons that you don't know but they're out there,
Mm-hmm.
came and wanted to deliver something to the Buckinghams.
Yes.
Okay, and they went up
Yes.
and they came down because you said.
Because Miss Buckingham sent them back down.
Okay. Aside from the two individuals, and about what time did these two individuals showed up at the hotel?
They were there when I came in for work, like 4 o'clock.
Around
Like 4 o'clock?
4?
Yeah.
That's about the time you first
went to work.
Clocked in?
There. Yeah.
During the shift that you were there, did they ever leave or did they ever come back?
It looked like they stayed there till my shift was over. They stayed outside the hotel and just waited, hoping to catch Mr. Buckingham, but he wasn't. They were asking me if I saw Mr. Buckingham my whole shift, but I didn't see him at all.
Okay. During your shift, did you see the Buckinghams go in or out of the hotel?
Only Miss Buckingham, because she was taking stuff out of her room.
Okay. At what time did Mrs. Buckingham started taking stuff out of the room?
It looked like she was doing that before I started my shift. She was just going up and down and taking out like furniture.
Furnitures?
Yeah.
Okay. And what happened to the furnitures?
I think she was giving them away to people that were bought it or something.
Okay, at what point did you see luggages?
Yeah, towards the end of my shift.
The luggages? Can you repeat yourself? What happened?
Towards the end of my shift, at like later before my shift ended, they were moving luggages. But they weren't giving it away to the guests. They were just, I guess, one of their friends was holding it for them.
What time did the luggages come down?
Not sure. Like maybe 10?
Okay, approximate.
Yeah.
And who brought them down?
I don't know who they were. They
What-
were
But
friends of Miss Buckingham. So
friends of, okay.
Yeah.
Male, female?
Female.
Female. And in regards to the luggages, was there anything that happened in regards to the luggages while you were on shift?
What do you mean?
Like, where did you put him? Did somebody try to take him, or what?
Yeah, they were put in behind the front desk to, I guess, just hold them.
Did you ever receive any notice that the Buckinghams were checking out?
I heard they were checking out, but I didn't know what day they were checking out.
When you said you heard that they were checking out, what do you mean?
Like, I knew they were checking out, but I wasn't sure on when and what time.
But they never officially called the front desk and said that they were checking out?
No, not that night.
Not that night? Not during your shift?
No.
Okay. When you checked out, when you clocked out, the luggages were still there?
Yes.
Did anybody else come to the hotel in regards to the Buckinghams?
Just like reporters asking if I seen them or if they came down.
Did you see any police officers before you checked out, clocked out?
Yes. They wanted to issue out a subpoena. Yeah, they wanted to issue out a subpoena to him, but I had to call my manager down first before they could do that.
When you said police officers, how do you know that they were police officers?
They were in their uniforms?
Police uniforms?
Yes.
Not civilian clothes?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, members. Anybody else? If not, I want to thank you, Miss Danica Calvo. I know your dad is probably here waiting for you to pick you up. I will dismiss you at this point. Can you please check with our Sergeant at Arms and just provide him with your contact number so in case this committee has any further questions, we can contact you and we will give you reasonable notice. Again, thank you for your cooperation.
Okay, thanks.
Sarge, can you please escort Miss Daisy Sablan from Delta Airlines? Good morning, Ms. Sablan.
Good morning.
Before I ask you to state your name and who you represent, I would like to put you under oath. So I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and just respond. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. I think this you can put your hand down now, and if you need to talk, just press that button. When you see the light on the microphone turn on, then you can talk. For the record, can you please state your name and who you represent? What company do you work for?
My name is Daisy Flor Sablan, and I'm with Delta Airlines.
Thank you, Ms. Sablan. Ms. Sablan, you're probably aware the reason we subpoenaed you to come and provide testimony to this committee is because you were probably on duty on the early morning hours of August 4th when the former Attorney General, Mr. Buckingham, and his family checked in to depart through Delta Airlines. Can you state if you were on duty and at what time was your shift?
I wasn't on duty that morning. I am here for formalities because I have been subpoenaed, but I wasn't on duty nor near the facility that morning.
Ms. Sablan, originally we had subpoenaed Miss Esther F. Sound and Mr. Christopher A. Conception, and we were informed that they were not the right individuals who were on duty, and this committee was given the names of the people on duty, and that's how your name, that's how you ended up being subpoenaed. And now you're saying you weren't there? You were not physically present on the early morning hours of August 4th?
That is correct.
Just for the record, what is your position? What do you do at Delta Airlines?
My position is the lead station supervisor.
Okay, Miss Stacy. I think the response we were given is because this was an operational related issue, and since you are the operations station manager, that was the reason you were asked to appear on behalf of Delta Airlines. So because you are here, perhaps we can ask you some questions, and if you can answer it, you can do so if you were aware. If not, just simply state that you are not aware. Fair enough?
That would be fair enough.
Thank you. Perhaps it's fair to ask you what your understanding is of the early morning hours of August 4th relating to Mr. Buckingham checking in and departing through Delta Airlines. Do you have any information or recollection of that incident?
Just basically following the news articles.
Since you are the station manager and you are aware that the incident is under investigation. I presume that the counter agents, I'm not sure if that's the appropriate name, the people working at the counter report to you. Is that correct? They report their activities to you as the operations station manager?
The agents reports to whomever the supervisor is on duty for that particular shift. And just would like to make a correction. My title is a supervisor, not a manager.
Thank you. I didn't mean to promote you. But so since you were not the operation or the shift supervisor, the employees working that early that morning did not report to you with regards to this incident?
That is correct.
Members, would you like to, Representative Del Cruz?
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Sablan, good morning, and thank you for coming. You know, I'm not quite sure how we had tried to subpoena two different individuals and was informed that you would be the person. And so with that, I would like to ask, who was the shift supervisor during that time Mr. and Mrs. Buckingham checked in? Who was the supervisor during that time?
That will be our contractor supervisor, Selena Regis.
Would you know who else under the Delta Airlines were present during that period of time?
I will have to go back to the shift documentation on that to ensure that I'll be giving the names of the people who are actually on duty that day, if that shall be permit.
Mr. Chair. And legal counsel in LA, if we can have those names so that we may ask them to come in. If Ms. Sablan, and she has already stated that she was not present during the early morning hours of August 3rd and 4th, I believe. And so with that, may we ask that, Mr. Chair, we have those names presented to you as the chair of the committee, and also after this testimonial, may we ask that we also subpoena Ms. Regis, as she was present during the early morning hours.
She was on duty that morning, yes.
Yeah. When you finish talking, you can press the button so it turns off. I also want to ask that you don't speak too close to the microphone. The volume is pretty loud, and the testimonies in here should just stay in here, but I think what's happening is it's so loud that everybody else outside the gallery, outside this chamber, can hear what is being said in here. So I believe Representative De La Cruz has asked that the individuals that were on duty that night be provided to this committee, and that we do prepare subpoenas for those individuals. Is that what had transpired? Thank you. Representative Sablan?
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Blanc, good morning. As the lead station supervisor, is that the official title? Let me ask this. What is the federal regulations in regards to checking in of passengers at the counter?
Regulations in checking in passenger at the counter?
Yes.
Would you elaborate on your question, please?
Okay, if I may, okay, let me be a little bit more specific. Is it standard procedure or standard requirement that passengers, as they check in, appear in person to verify identity and eligibility to travel?
That is correct, provided, of course, you have checked in advance, then you are not required to present yourself at the counter.
And I ask again, by checking in advance, you check in person in advance?
Checking in advance could be done in two ways. One, online, where you check in yourself, and then the second one is being assisted at the counter.
There's no requirements on verifying identity of the traveler? Or at what point is the identity of the traveler requirement part of the procedure?
Identity requirement are done in three ways. One at the counter, second one before entering the sterile area, where there is a document check performed by a federal government entity, and one being the gate before you board the aircraft.
So when you mention at a counter, you're talking downstairs, as in the case of the Saipan International. The second part is you said federal employee. I'm assuming, is it TSA or CBP?
That will be TSA.
TSA. And lastly, at the actual departure gate.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Sablan. Representative De La Cruz?
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Sablan, with regards to policies, with regards to checking in, and with regards to baggages and luggages, what is the minimum, I guess, weight of luggage that you would need to check in? And at what point are those baggage and luggages checked in? Do they get checked in at the counter or other areas throughout the process of boarding a flight?
Acceptable weight is 50 pounds, and the way to check in the baggage is through the counter accepted by the agent.
50 pounds per passenger, I take it.
That's correct, per bag, per passenger.
Okay, so there are no other ways that luggages can pass through federal points without first checking in those luggage that certain amount of weight aside from the counter itself of Delta Airlines.
That is correct.
I'll yield, Mr. Chair.
Representative Torres?
Mr. Sablan, just to clarify, I heard you said that a question from Representative Cruz that the passenger has to be checked at first point by TSA. And then another question followed by that you said, you answered correct, meaning that the TSA is also checking on the last point to board the plane.
That is incorrect. What I said, what the first point of contact will be the counter, second would be the TSA for document check, and the final being the gate before the passenger boarded the flight.
And who are they, the last point?
That will be Delta representative.
And not the U.S. Immigration Border Patrol?
No.
They don't do that for international?
No, they don't.
Just the airlines? They didn't?
Yes, the final boarding, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Torres. May I also ask a follow-up question to the question that Representative Sablan asked about at what point is the identity of a passenger required? And you said there are three ways. One is at the counter, one is with the, I guess, going up to the ramp, and one is before they depart. Those are three ways, but my question is, does the airline have to confirm the identity at the counter?
Yes.
So a passenger is required to personally appear to identify whether he is in fact the passenger that is listed on the reservation, I guess. That it is at that point at the counter first that he must appear and identify himself. Is that correct?
If you have a check-in baggage, yes.
Okay. So any customer, doesn't matter who, if he has a check-in baggage, has to physically be present at the counter and identify his passport. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Does any other member have any further questions? If not, I want to thank you, Ms. Sablan. You are dismissed at this point. If you would please kindly give our Sergeant at Arms your point of contact. We may or may not be contacting you if additional questions are required of you. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Just turn off your mic, please. Before we go further, Sarge, with the next witness, I'm going to call for a short recess so the members can take a short break.